Stranger Than Fiction, Case Number 5, Snapshot, the story behind the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot film. With the sole exception of the Zapruder film, there is no piece of footage more scrutinized and studied than the famous motion picture shot by Roger Patterson and his partner, Robert Gimlin. On October 20th, 1967, both men claimed to have encountered an unknown creature in the California forest known to most monster hunters as Bigfoot. According to both, they were scouting out locations to film a documentary. The encounter, although only seen on film for less than a minute, changed their lives forever. The Patterson film, as it is known, has been authenticated and debunked by the scientific community. Most of those who have studied the footage claim that it is simply a man photographed in an ape suit. Others claim that Patterson and Gimlin captured a cryptid, or a creature unknown to science. The men stated, for the record, that neither arranged this photographic episode nor did they hire an individual to act in an ape suit for filming. Roger Patterson died in 1972 of cancer, but his remaining partner, Robert Gimlin, has done his best to defend the validity of the film by going to Bigfoot conventions and appearing on televised events, stating quite clear that this movie was no hoax. Everyone has an encounter which makes them wonder about a certain something. With Roger Patterson, it happened after reading an article in True magazine. In their December 1959 issue, an article was written by an Ivan Sanderson. In this article, there were inaccurate reports of individual animals in the Northwest defying logic. Huge man-like creatures. Some were peaceful encounters, where others were the stuff of nightmares. These stories intrigued Patterson, and he and his partner sought out these animals as a means to make a fortune. However, there are those in the world who painted quite a different picture of the photographer. Roger Patterson had a passion for creating the ultimate Bigfoot motion picture, according to those who knew him. In fact, several decades after his famous film footage was introduced, there were those who flatly stated that Patterson was nothing more than a liar, a con man, and sometimes worse. Creditors complained about his never repaying loans made to help make his film, and that he had a terrible reputation with his ever-sinking credit. Roger Gimlin even sued Patterson's widow once, claiming that he never received a fair share of the Bigfoot film's profits. The only existing evidence to this claim belongs to an individual who holds still a $700 promissory note signed by Patterson for expenses in connection with the filming of Bigfoot, America's Abominable Snowman. This bill was approved with the understanding that Patterson would repay it with additional fees adding up to $850, plus a small percentage of the overall dollar value of the film once released. In the movie, according to those involved, it was supposed to be a pseudo-documentary about two cowboys, a Native American guide, and several other characters hunting for a Bigfoot creature. There are still claims by certain individuals that they had been hired by Patterson to play the beast. Some film scholars also point out that Gimlin can be spotted in the Patterson film wearing a poorly placed wig, suggesting the truism of the motion picture claim. The film was never made, nor was the loan honored. The incident itself took place in the Six Rivers National Forest in Northern California. Patterson suggested this location based solely on reports of various encounters there involving the creatures. Footprints had been spotted in great numbers along the riverbed since 1958. Also, several teams of scientists claimed to be within this area, interested themselves in all the fantastic stories and finds. What better place to shoot a documentary? Gimlin, although he was doubtful of the existence of Bigfoot, went along with his partner, taking with him a firearm just in case it was needed. Patterson later had a talk with the man and agreed that if they did come upon such a creature, neither would try to shoot it. Who knew how the thing would react? There had been a few stories in existence at the time which claimed that the animal could show great wrath if need be. Both still had a passion for filming the monster, hoping to quiet down all the naysayers pestering them in their endeavors. The two rented out a powerful 16mm camera on May 13th. They had the contraption for over 6 months and nothing to show for their troubles. They were also beyond their original lease, unknown to either of them. An arrest warrant had been issued on October 17th against Patterson. After Patterson had returned the camera and it was discovered still to be within working condition, the order was dropped. The time of the Bigfoot encounter has fallen under some scrutiny. In an Argosy magazine article, the reporter writes that Patterson spotted the creature on or around 3:30 p.m. Personal reports from Patterson and Gimlin, they placed the event around 1:30 p.m. Perhaps in a future investigation with technology yet to be invented, this timeline can be substantiated with existing shadows and light within the film itself. At any given time, Patterson claimed that he was less than 25 feet from the creature when filming it. The encounter was a fast one. At one point, while scouting out the riverbed area, Patterson and his partner were thrown from their horses, which all bolted without reason, terrified. Turning past an overturned tree, which fascinated the men due to its vast root system branching outward into the midday sky, they discovered the creature crouching down beside the creek to their left. Patterson cheered, reaching for his camera. Gimlin later confessed in being in a mild state of shock after spotting the thing. Patterson allowed his horse to continue on its trek away from the creature and started filming. "Cover me!" he yelled to his partner. Gimlin could only watch. The creature, spotting them, calmly rose and started to walk away. It looked neither startled nor curious. In fact, Patterson remarked that it appeared quite irritated in seeing them, as if it had been annoyed by their intrusion into what was a fantastically bright and sunny day. At the beginning of the film footage, which is about 55 seconds long, the footage is quite shaky and poor. This poor quality was because Patterson was wrestling with his camera after being thrown from his horse. Patterson took to his knees to stop the camera from moving, and just as he did so, the creature turned, looking at him. The men claimed that the thing they filmed looked at them a total of 3 times, but the footage only shows the one. With this one gesture came a hell of a lot of controversies. One of the frames in question is frame number 352. In this frame, we can see the monster looking over its shoulder, arms outward in a casual stride. Most scientists use this frame to show the falsity of the thing, stating that it is clearly an ape suit. Others point out that the bottoms of the feet are just too light for a creature this size and for one that lives in the wild. Other scientists state that when the animal turns its head, it also turns its body to compensate for the lack of maneuverability of its neck. Things that wouldn't be done by your run-of-the-mill hoaxer. Patterson remembered his hand shaking uncontrollably after turning off his camera. The whole encounter lasted less than 3 minutes. Then there's the other side of the story never captured by the camera. In 2002, the owner of a North Carolina-based costume company claimed that he had been commissioned to create an ape suit that had been used in the Patterson film. When asked why it had taken him so long to come forward with this claim, the man stated he had concerns about being connected with any fraudulent charges that could come forward. The retailer stated that the suit was a mail-order item and that he had sold the thing under the impression that Patterson was planning to perform a prank on someone. Curious enough, while ordering the suit, Patterson inquired on how to make the shoulders of the monster more massive and the arms longer. The retailer suggested that the bearer of the suit wear football shoulder pads and have sticks attached to the hands, holding them in the arms. One must take into account the only evidence of this claim is the claim itself. No documentation exists. When people laugh at Roger Patterson and his partner, some fail to take into account the possibility that they could have been the true victims of a hoax. Case in point, Ray Wallace had been a prominent Bigfoot investigator in the late 50s. After his death in 2002, his family finally came forward, stating that he had faked all of his evidence and that with a pair of woodcut footprints, single-handedly started the modern Bigfoot craze. Some have suggested that Wallace had a degree of involvement with the Patterson film. Patterson had sought out Wallace before his filming, asking the man details regarding the encounter site. Wallace knew he and his partner would be going out that way, and he knew when they were going to start filming footage for their documentary. Could the whole thing have been a con set up by a third party? Wallace, in a statement, only suggested this: "I felt sorry for Roger Patterson. He told me he had cancer of the lymph glands, and he was desperately broke, and he wanted to try to get something where he could have a little income. Well, he went down there exactly where I told him. I told him, you go down there and hang around on the bank. Stay up there and watch that spot." Could it be that the photographer was the film's greatest victim? Now, this is only a personal theory of mine, open to conjecture and debate. Roger Patterson went to his deathbed signing a statement that the footage taken by him was no hoax. In a court of law, a deathbed confession is a powerful testimony. Considering the rewards and penalties of an afterlife, why would one lie when all hope was gone? The famous film offers up 3 possibilities. 1. The film is genuine. 2. Patterson faked the whole thing, hoping to gain enough support to help him shoot his Bigfoot movie. 3. Some unknown party knew that Patterson and Gimlin were filming within the Six Rivers National Forest, put on an ape suit, and took the 2 for all they were worth. I am a believer in the paranormal. There are times when our brains do not have the ability to record what we are experiencing. I believe this as sure as I believe in a God. I also think that people can be tricked. As desperate as Patterson had been, hoping above all hope, I certainly believe that the third option is the truth behind this famous and controversial film. But then again, that's just my opinion. Look at the film. Study it. You be the judge. This has been Stranger Than Fiction, case number 5, Snapshot, the story behind the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot film. If you are interested in reading some of my personal works, please go to my website at donaldallenkirch.com. My books are available in print, ebook, and some audiobooks. I look forward to entertaining you. Thank you.